All right, truth teller.
Yes.
How's it going?
I'm good, legend. How you doing?
I'm good, bro, man. Glad to have you here.
Most definitely glad to be here, man. I said if I was gonna do this shit, I was gonna do it with you, Kim, man. You know, I done held the story for a while, so I said I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna wait till Kim get up with me.
Man, that's what's up, man. I'm glad to have you, man. I know you're interviewing and, your reporting is very extensive in the drill community.
Yeah, this shit get crazy too, Kim.
Yeah. Well, let's start just by getting to know you a little bit better. Where'd you grow up at?
I grew up on the west side of Chicago, you know, Chirac, the real Chicago. People be acting like I ain't from Chicago. I don't know where they get this shit from. I'm from the west side of Chicago. I grew up there my whole life. I moved away like about maybe like 10 and a half years ago. So, you know, it's a different Chicago than from when I was in Chicago and shit. So, you know, when I was growing up, it was like pre-internet, you know? So it wasn't as on the outside of what shit going on right now, you know? I didn't even know that this world was going on and shit when I was growing up in Chicago, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. Like, it was going on, like, things was going on. It was scrambled all out throughout the city, but, like, it was more like big people and shit doing the violence and, like, bigger people. Now, 13-year-olds, 12-year-olds got them switches and shit, you know? Like, it's real out here, Kim.
Okay, so growing up in Chicago, you said it was different.
Hell yeah.
You know, what was your high school life like and your junior high school life like? You know?
Oh, like every other person, shit, growing up, I went to a school called Austin High School in one of the most dangerous parts of the city, Kim. I grew up in the Austin community. A lot of violence. I believe Austin actually lead the murder rate in Chicago right now, that neighborhood. I grew up in that neighborhood. Going to high school like everybody else, young dude playing basketball and shit, affiliated with gangs. I wasn't in a gang though, but I was affiliated heavy with the gangs and shit growing up, you know, on the west side of Chicago, like with the Four Corner Hustlers and shit. They kind of had like a stronghold in that area where I grew up at. And I grew up amongst like a lot of gang leaders and shit, like a lot of people who respected and gang members. I grew up with them as a little kid, Ken.
What stopped you from getting involved in the streets or, involved in gangs?
You know, I never really got involved as far as being verified in gangs, but I used to run around with gangs. I used to shake up and shit, act like I was in the gang and all kind of shit like that. But, you know, I always thought a little bit different and shit. You know, I wanted to be a rapper. I grew up, I wanted to be a rapper, Kim, but nobody gave a fuck about my raps and shit, you know, so that moved me to like the blogging and shit. Yeah.
What were some of like the wild things that you've seen or been through over there?
I was actually shot, Kim. A lot of people don't know that, Kim. I was actually shot, and my friend was killed. You know, growing up out there. Yeah, I was shot, Kim. And it's the crazy part about this shit, Kim. I was a young man. I wasn't shit but 8 years old when this shit happened. I was 8 years old, Kim. My friend was 8 years old. Some guy came through the block. You know, he claimed that, you know, the 8-year-old, my friend, family, like did some shit to like they family or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And big grown ass nigga, man, he grown as hell. He come down the block spraying that bitch, blah, 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 blah. He spraying that bitch, Kim. I'm talking about, it's number of kids. It's me, it's my sister, it's Ernest. It's like 7, 8 kids out there. Ain't no grown-ups out there. Shit, he came through looking for the get back. I got shot in my arm and my friend got shot in the head. And he died.
Wow.
And look, this the crazy part though, Kim. Fast forward like years later, you know, I was young, I was 8, so I didn't really know what was going on, you know? So when you fast forward the story, come find out, I live next door to like, you know, a well-respected gang member. Like he's a gang leader. People know him now, his name Benny Lee, people know him. He kind of changed his life now. He like into politics and shit like that. But I didn't know that, you know, the friends I grew up with was like gang leader people and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, that happened. Yeah, that shit crazy, Kim.
How do you think that affected you?
That me up all the way, you know, when I was younger. Now, losing somebody that early, because I seen somebody get killed at 8 years old, Kim. So, you know, that shit had me like, you know, paranoid. I was paranoid early in life. You know what I'm saying? I was paranoid early in life. Shit, I ain't want nobody around me. I was a loner. I was young as hell. I was a loner, young as hell. But look, to add on to that story though, Kim, you know, since I've been blogging and shit now, people seeing my videos, can you believe like recently, like maybe about 7 months ago, the guy who shot me, family, actually contacted me. And cause the guy who shot me, he actually went to jail. You know, the whole block seen that shit. It was a drive-by. Whole neighborhood seen this shit, you know. I think they, you know, I'm young. I don't know too much of what happened, but they went to jail. You know, they family contacted me later on in life, like, and told me exactly what happened. I ain't finna say that for the internet, but yeah, his family contacted me later on and told me what happened.
Damn.
Yeah, shit crazy, man. Chicago been wild. Like, it been wild, but now it's more the young people. It's more like the little 13, 14, 15-year-olds out here that's just killing motherfuckers and shit.
Now, did you graduate from high school?
Dropped out on some street shit. I'm out here. I'm hanging with the guys. We out here. We kicking it every day. We on some hip-hop shit. I dropped out of school. I ain't finished school. No. Everybody, like everybody else and shit, I was hard-headed as hell, Kim, you know, growing up. I had my mom, I had my dad, but I was still hard-headed as hell. You know, you want to go outside, you got to simulate shit. You got to act like everybody else.
So you drop out of school and now you're hanging out in the streets.
Yeah.
You know, are you getting any trouble? Are you getting arrested or anything? Or
not big time shit, you know, not big time shit. Marijuana, caught with weed, selling weed, little shit like that. Then I started having kids. You know, that kind of changed me. I started having kids around 20. So that kind of changed me. Started having kids back to back, you know. So a lot of that hanging out shit kind of slowed down for me then.
Now, do you get a real job at this point, or are you involved in the journalistic side of the drill culture?
Not yet. You know, I'm working little regular jobs and shit. McDonald's, Marriott, Fresh Market, little shit like that. But I'm blogging. I'm starting to blog now, though. You know, I'm starting to get into the blogging shit. This rap shit not working. I'm starting to get into this blog shit. You know, before it started taking off, you know, not to fast forward so hard, but I used to be in a grocery store. It used to be people coming to the grocery store like, we gonna beat your ass. Look, we gonna beat your ass when you get up out of here. And shit like that. Like, I didn't realize that my videos were growing and shit. People were seeing them. I had to quit my job.
So you were living in Chicago?
Yeah, I was living in Chicago.
And where were you working?
I was working at Mariano's Fresh Market, downtown Chicago. I was working at the airport, O'Hare Airport. I used to get spotted everywhere, man. It just get dangerous and shit too.
And people are seeing you.
Hell yeah.
And they're saying, yo, they're threatening you over your videos.
Some people see me, show me love. You know, I'm in the store, I'm working. Look, I'm in the fish department. I'm cutting my fishes and taking pictures with fans and shit coming in that bit. We taking pictures and shit. You know, my manager like, what the fuck? Like, who are you and shit like that? I do blogs and shit, but it's some people coming in there like, you know what I'm saying? Like all kind of shit. Shit was crazy in there.
Now, how did you get into blogging?
You know, being a rapper, right? I used to hear shit, right? You know, I'm nosy. I'm just generally nosy and shit, so, but just hearing rap shit, I used to hear about neighborhoods and, you know, people naming names after shit. And I got intrigued by that shit, so I just started talking about rap and watching academics, DJ academics. Like, I'm gonna tell you something, Kim, if we gonna get into I gotta stamp this, Kim, because people don't be stamping this shit, Kim. I gotta stamp this, right? I'm the first ever Chicago drill blogger. Like, ain't no blogger before me. Like, I created the culture of what they call blogging. I created that shit, Kim.
What year did you start?
Kim, I created the blog culture in like about maybe 2010, 2011. Maybe 2011. Now, when I say the blog, hold up, let's start it. Wait a minute, we got started over, Kim. Before me, it was of the bloggers. You had DJ Academics. He not from Chicago, though. You had College Kid. They not from Chicago. You had Rap Ketchup. He from London. I'm actually the first rapper to ever have interviews on Rap Ketchup. We got into a little beef and shit like that. I paid them to they told me, I'm gonna put your interviews up there. We like your interviews. I paid them to put my interviews up there. We got into an argument. They took all my shit down. Okay? They not from Chicago, but we got cool later on. ZackTV, an interviewer. He was interviewing people. He the legend. He created this shit. But he an interviewer. He was letting you speak on the culture. I was the first person to ever speak on drill rap in general. I'll talk about what's going on with this hood, going on with this hood. Now, there was one guy before me, Lowski, but he was actually the first blogger, Lowski, but people don't credit him because he only talked about his gang. You see, he in a gang, so he couldn't talk about his gang in the bed wearing shit, you know? I'm the first person to ever talk about the drill culture. People don't get my credit in this shit, but I'm the first person. Look, people used to call me the police, Kim. They say, yo ass the police, yo ass a snitch. These same motherfuckers used to call me that shit. They ass bloggers now, Kim. They ass start their videos off like, what's up, everybody? It's the homie. Just like that shit too, you know? Yeah.
So you start blogging.
I started blogging.
And this is 2011, so this is right before Chief Keef really takes off?
No, this when Keef, this is right around, no, I might be wrong on the date. This around I Don't Like start coming out. Not around Bang, around I Don't Like. I don't know the year I Don't Like come out. That's around the time I first started blogging. I showed my face in the culture. No other, it was just guys had to be on screenshots and shit. I'm the first person to show my face in the culture and talk about the culture besides Lowski being real. You had shit like Face Short Drive, but them blog sites. I'm talking about a blogger, a person, a face. I'm the first.
Yeah, for sure, man. You've been around a long time, man. Congrats on that, man. That's dope, bro. Because
and I appreciate
Chicago has become a big source for blogging now, and a lot of people do a lot of blogging and really do a lot in Chicago, and it's dope, man. You know what I'm saying? You definitely, pave the way for a lot of people.
Facts, that's a fact, and it's a lot of dope guys in this shit right now too. Blogging growing, man. Shout out all the bloggers in this shit, man. Show the bloggers some love in this shit.
The bloggers definitely contribute to the culture in a major way, man.
Yeah, because they be out here lying like bloggers is starting the violence. Man, y'all ass making videos about dead people. Y'all causing the drama, people dying because of y'all. Nah, your baby daddy who out here playing with them guns, shooting that motherfucker around the corner. You feel me? Your brother out here killing motherfuckers and you giving them room and board. Them the people that's causing drama in the community. Not no guy making no 3-minute video putting it on YouTube. And I tell people that shit all the time. In my opinion, again.
Okay, so you start blogging. This is right around the time when Chief Keef blows up, man. And, are you seeing the future or you just got a passion for this blogging thing?
I'm seeing the deaths. I'm seeing the murders. I'm seeing shit I ain't never seen before. It made me jump in that shit. Like, I seen rap videos that had 50 people in a room. I ain't never seen the rap video that had 50 kids in the room and they all got guns and shit. I ain't never seen that. So, that got me in that shit.
Okay, and, what was the early blogging like for you?
No views, nobody caring about that shit. Academics ran the internet. The war Chirac was out. That's what everybody ran to. It was hard in that shit.
Were you on YouTube? Like, were you doing it just like you do it now?
No, I was just doing it on Instagram. I was doing Instagram and put my interviews on Instagram. Remember, Instagram had 15-second clips and shit. So I'm uploading 30 clips per interview and shit, right? Putting this shit on Instagram. It's a famous director named Ray Money Visions. He was actually shot like in a robbery or something like that. He told me, truth, man, put that shit on internet. And I put it on the internet and shit, we here now.
Now, who was the first rapper you interviewed? Or person you interviewed?
A clothing designer. It's this guy named a clothing designer. Somebody took a chance, a clothing designer named No Capo Talking. But my first interview with a rapper, the legendary Bo Deal.
Oh, shout out Bo Deal.
Bo Deal.
That's crazy. Okay.
Bo Deal showed me love. He gave me that interview. And in this business, one person seen Bo give me love and this shit. It just spiraled,
Okay, Bo gives you this interview, and you said you're just putting them on Instagram. You're not putting them on YouTube at the time.
At this time, I'm on the interview. I'm putting them on YouTube now. At this time, I'm throwing them on YouTube now.
Okay, you're putting them on YouTube. How long is the interview?
Maybe 20 minutes, but I'm doing them over the phone. They phone interviews. I haven't been face to face yet, you know? Phone interviews.
Okay, you're doing phone interviews. Bo Deal, who, you know, he did a lot. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he did a lot in music.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like with Waka and Gucci and everybody, like Bo was popping, you know, for Chicago. And you do this interview, you know, a lot of people with Bo, and what happens next?
You know, I do the interview with Bo. I get a little recognition. People sees it. I get the next interview. It started really running when Bo did it, but then it runs when King Yella give me an interview. Okay? I get the King Yella interview. That put me in a different lane. Now the drill coach are really watching. You know, they paying attention. Now, who is dude with the glasses on, little nerdy looking ass dude? Who dude is? And then by the time I get to 600 Breezy, the whole culture watching. You know?
Were these still audio? At what point do you move to video?
Okay, that's the thing, Kim. I do phone interviews 10 years, Kim. 10 years. Look, 10 years. People used to say, damn, Truth, you scared to go face to face? I ain't never do them because with the phone, I can do them so fast. Something happened today, I can have you on the phone in 5 minutes. An interviewer got to book the session. Shit, you got to get there, all kind of stuff, you know? So I do these interviews for about 10 years. I finally, you know, not to fast forward, but I finally make a decision to say, man, I've been doing this shit 10 years. I'm finna book a spot and do an interview and go to Chicago. I start doing face-to-face interviews about 2 years ago, Kim. My first face-to-face interview ever 2 years ago. Soon I started doing the face-to-face interviews, I did about 60 million views in 2 years, Kim.
Man, that's what's up.
Because they've been hearing me on the phone for 10 years. Now they actually see me in the room with the guys I was talking about for 10 years. They're like, damn, because I done did videos about guys' deaths, brothers, bad, good. Now I'm taking a chance standing in a room with them. Guys were shocked to see me in a room with them people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've pretty much interacted with probably almost every single rapper in Chicago, or at least drill rapper in Chicago.
Facts, big facts.
When did people start like reaching out to you and, you know, maybe like questioning you or being mad about you? You know, do you remember like the first known person that was like, truth teller, what the f is this?
Hell yeah. That shit started coming rapidly. When I started doing the face-to-face interviews, shit, it's like the more views you get, the more responsibility you gotta have in this shit. You know, Kim? I ain't know that, you know? So I'm doing interviews. I wake up in the morning. Okay, first time an artist ever got upset with me was Bo Deal. You know, legendary Bo Deal. You feel me? Bo, I gotta tell this story. Bo called me like a boss. You feel me, Cam? His ass called me like a boss. Hit my DM, call me. You feel me? Shit. I already knew it was something. I can feel that shit. Call me. You feel like, damn, Bo, I'm a grown ass man. Bo, like, call me. Shit, I call him. I know you ain't let nobody get on your platform and diss me, bro, you know? I did. I didn't catch it, right? But I go back, a guy did disrespect Bo on my platform, right? And he a OG in this shit. He respected in this shit. You don't supposed to let a motherfucker come with the OGs in this shit, you know? But the thing was, I didn't catch that shit, right? So he hit me though, like, look, I don't like that shit. It's all love, keep it up. But he hit me upset about that shit. But he a good dude. He understood that I was fresh in this shit. And I didn't understand that shit. So we got past that. Hold up, Cam, I ain't done. Next day I wake up in the morning. Look, my people and them telling me, damn truth shit, that shit banging. You know me, I don't be ready to want to talk to motherfuckers and shit. I'm like, yeah, okay, thank you. You feel? All the whole day, motherfuckers like, that song go hard, bro. What is you talking about? I finally say, you know, man, I gotta stop agreeing with shit. What you talking about? You on a song dissing Durk. I say, my bad on my phone. He say, you on a song dissing Durk. I say, what is you talking about? I go to the shit, rapper Rico Reckless, okay? He used my interview with Duck Brother. I interviewed Duck Brother, FBG Brick. We do an interview. You know, Brick talk crazy on that shit about Rico Reckless. He used my interview in the beginning of his remix of Slide. You know, shit do about 2-3 million views. You know, Duck and them asked me about that shit, you know? I woke up in the morning with him in my DM, you feel me? Asking me about that shit, you know? Yeah, I done been through a lot of guys. Rapper SG Batman upset at me.
Hold on. Duck calls you.
Duck.
And he's mad. Is this your first time talking to Duck?
No, I talked to Duck a couple times. I interviewed him. So I talked to him a couple times. This like my second time talking to him. You know, he DM'd me. Asking me what's up with that. I ain't, you know, I didn't know he used my verse and shit. I ain't know anything. But he wasn't really upset with that shit though, right, Kim? But he did hit me and asked me about that shit, you know? You know, Duck didn't like me, bro. People don't know that shit. When I first started blogging, Duck thought I was the police. Duck ain't with me. Like, when I first talked to Duck, Duck blocked me. I was blocked from Duck for like a whole year and a half. He didn't like anything I was doing because people didn't see that shit, Kim. You got to understand, when I came out, it wasn't a guy telling your business and shit on the internet, you know? It was just a blog site, like, with screenshots and shit. Now they see me in front of the screen telling, you know, FBG Duck, this is this guy. And, you know, he looking at that shit like his ass the police, right? So he blocked me, you know? And after building, doing all these interviews and shit, he unblocked me, you know? And hit me and told me, bro, I see what you doing. Send me your number. Duck was a real nigga, man. He said, I see what you was doing. Send me your number, you know?
So Duck hits you and he's mad. He's mad about the song. I mean, well, you said he wasn't mad, but he hits you up about the song.
He asked me about it. He got to have some feelings about the shit.
You know, were you surprised? Like, how'd you feel when you heard your interview on that song?
I was shocked. You know, that's the first time somebody used my song, my voice on the song. You got to understand, I'm in the basement. I'm doing these videos. At this time, I ain't doing it face to face. I ain't coming back to Chicago. I'm in this undisclosed location. I don't even know people know me, you know? You see what I'm saying? So now all of a sudden my videos growing, there's rappers in my DM and shit is, you know, this shit getting big, this shit growing, you know, the legend is growing and shit. That's around the time the famous ZackTV started noticing what I'm doing. He latched on to me, you know?
ZackTV was also early on in this.
Yeah.
And did a lot of interview blogging type of things. And, you know, how did you guys first come in contact or meet each other?
Through my interview. Zach was a good dude. Zach showed me more love than anybody in this shit. You know, Zach watched my interview. I never met Zach in real life. I never met him in real life. We were supposed to do an interview maybe 6 days before he was killed. Zach latched on to me through my interviews. He told me, bro, I'm gonna rock with you. Zach used to call me every day like I was his real brother. You know what I'm saying? Zach used to DM me. Zach told me from this point on, I'm gonna say your name in every interview I do to make sure you get some buzz. And he said my name in about maybe 13, 14 interviews. Shit, I ain't even involved with the topic. He just threw me in that shit, you know? Zach was a good dude. He threw the alley hoop, you know, he was throwing the alley hoop. So when he died, right, that shit pressed me, Kim. When Zach died, that shit pressed me because he died like leaving like a club that had a lot of people who all know what happened to him. You know what I'm saying? It's no secret about what happened to Zach. Wasn't no everybody was asleep or motherfuckers was around the corner. He died down the street from the fucking club that he walked out of. You know, it's reports dropped on Zach. For some reason, the internet didn't pick it up. They didn't really grab it. But the Associated Press and reputable magazine sites, you know, released documents on Zach's death. Zach had people charged with his death, Kim. It was people charged with Zach's death, but they let him go. They said this was mutual combat. So you gotta remember, I'm a street reporter, I'm a drill historian. So, you know, I really look into the work. They say Zach was involved in mutual combat, okay? They say they don't know who shot first, who shot this, who did that, so they let everybody go, okay? When you look at the report, it says Zach was in an altercation in a club. It was downtown. He had a talent show, okay? He out here supporting artists and lost his life, okay? He out here supporting the dirty ass artists out here. Not all the artists is dirty, but some dirty ass artists he out here supporting, and there's dirty shit going on at the moment, you know? And Zach leaves the club, bro. When he walks out the club, the cameras caught Zach in a flurry. According to these reports, Zach in a flurry and shit. They see Zach in an altercation in the club. He get in an argument with people in the club, all kind of shit. Then he loses his life. The reason nobody knew, because everybody, you know, it's strong with the shut your mouth shit. Chicago backdoor as hell. That shit dangerous as hell. You know, that shit irritates me to know that Zach helped everybody and nobody gonna stand up for Zach. I ain't saying go tell or go snitch, but I'm just saying, you know, it's shit dirty out here, Kim, you know. You'll lose your life and the motherfucker act like they ain't see it.
Man, I hear you, man. I hear you.
A motherfucker smoke you and act like they ain't do it, man. And not only Zach, you know, another thing I want to say, Kim, as doing these interviews and shit, Kim, FBG Brick, I interviewed him a little while ago. That's Duck brother. He was shot and killed. I interviewed him. FBG Duck interviewed him, shot and killed. FBG Cash interviewed him, shot and killed. Kobe, shot and killed. TB, shot and killed. Mubu Crump, always give me advice in this shit, shot and killed. EBE Bands, another rapper from Chicago, he was beat with a baseball bat, Kim, and a motherfucker set him on fire, bro. Threw his body in the woods. Okay, he lost his life. Another guy interviewed, ZackTV, Lil Tay, Goonie Looney, E-Day, Boss Move, Fat Shawty, Cash Life Reckless, Front Street Quano, ATM Lil Mo, AMG Fresh, Yaya White. I looked up, Kim, after these years of interviewing and shit, I looked up to the ceiling. It was 20 people I interviewed that been killed. I watched the culture die in front of my eyes, Kim. I seen that shit. I seen the culture die in front of my eyes. I seen that shit dying in front of my eyes.
You know, all the rappers being killed is definitely, I feel, took an energy out of the drill culture.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, especially Duck and Vaughn.
Yeah.
You know, that was really big. A big losses for the drill culture. You know, you know, the energy and the excitement around it just isn't quite the same as it was.
Yeah, it ain't. It's different now, cause shit ain't, everybody done got killed. Ain't took everybody out. I don't even know who to listen to no more. I don't even know what radio, what song to put on this shit, cause everybody gone, you know? Shit crazy. Yeah.
Well, you said 20 rappers that you interviewed have been killed.
Yeah.
Man, that's a lot.
Yeah, and that's just what I can come off my head and remember and write in my phone. It's more that might pop in my head later on, man.
And you've been doing your things since 2011, so that's 12 years. That's almost 2 rappers a year on average.
Yeah, that shit sad. Young men just losing their lives out here and shit. I seen that shit. I seen that shit to be talking to a young man. Cash, FBG Cash. You know, I had a strong relationship with Cash, you know. Before me, you know, Cash told me, this is what Cash told me. I'm gonna tell you, this is some real shit Cash told me. Cash told me, Truth, your platform is the only platform that don't look at me like a killer. That's what he told me, you know. I don't know if that's the truth, but he told me that. You know, I interviewed Cash about 4 times. We did a movie together. We shot a video, a music song together. I interviewed him 2 days before he was killed. I'm gonna tell you something about Cash death that shocked me too, right? You know, 2 days before Cash was killed, I seen him downtown because he's supposed to come to me. We finna do an interview. My son know Cash. He be playing with Cash to give him advice and shit. My son say, ain't that Cash across the street? He go in the restaurant, M-Burger. He go in M-Burger, the restaurant. My son, like, he still going to the restaurant? I'm shocked too. I ain't gonna lie, I'm shocked too. I'm shocked like hell too. Shit, no face mask on, no cover up. He go in there like this. I'm shocked as hell when I see that shit. Truth, I'm finna come over there in a minute. I'm getting some food. You know, he come across the street. He got a lady with him and a lady. And then it f***ed me up in the head to find out 2 days later he was shot and killed with a lady.
Oh, with the lady that he was with that day?
I don't know if that's the lady he was with, but 2 days later he was shot and another lady was shot, but she survived. But when he was with me 2 days earlier, he was with a lady. And I told him, I said, is this safe for you to be going in stores like that? He said, shit, I gotta eat. I said, I feel you, but shit, you know, people know who you is, bro. So, you know, Cash moved around like that. That I didn't like Cash moving around like that, you know. He was cool though. He understood that I was gonna be around people he didn't like. He understood that shit. Like, he didn't look at me like, man, he the op. Like, he knew truth, cool. Truth ain't never gonna put me in a position with no op ass niggas and nothing like that, you know. Yeah.
And unfortunately, Cash does end up getting killed, man.
Yeah.
You know, how'd you feel and what'd you think when you heard about it?
That shit hurt me, Cash. I mean, that shit hurt me, Kim. I'm gonna be honest with you. That shit hurt me, you know, to see that brother, because he was finna blow up. He was on the come up, you know, and he was a good dude. Like, people didn't get to see the dude behind the camera, you know. I got a chance to meet the guy behind the camera. I ain't never did shit to him, so I ain't had to see that side of him. But I did used to be around him doing, be like, you know, you been video with a lot of killers and shit. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I did used to look at, you know, I did used to look at his ass like this and shit, like, you know, keep an extra side eye on him and shit, though, you know, because I see him with all the people who they say was killers and shit. So I figured, you know, he probably not to play either, but he never gave me that energy. He was a good dude, but unfortunately, you know, he was still moving around out here. You know, I didn't know why he was still moving. I thought when we did our interview, he left, you know, to be out here. I don't know if he knew how famous he was, you know, how big he was getting and shit. But yeah, I was hurt when I found out that Cash died. I didn't even drop our interview. Remember, I interviewed him 2 days before he died. I didn't even drop the interview. I waited to a month later to drop it.
Okay, you put it out a month later.
Because, I mean, in our interview, he eating Durk rap snacks and shit. You know, he trying Lil Durk rap snacks and all kind of shit. How I'm going to put that out 2 days? You know, he just passed away. Now I'm finna drop his interview with him trying Lil Durk rap snacks and all kind of shit, you know? So I waited. People like, drop the interview anyway. I'm like, I ain't finna drop that shit. I waited till about a month.
I remember that. Initially you said you weren't going to put it out at all, right? And
yeah, I wasn't going to put it out.
Eventually put it out. That's right.
Yeah.
You know, O-Block being such a big part of the culture, you know, what was like your first interactions with O-Block and kind of getting to know that area and everything?
Shit, tough. You know, the O don't really with people. Like, earlier, now with blogs out, you know, now they give motherfuckers an opportunity to interview them and talk to them and shit. But shit, when I started off, hell no. First interaction I ever had with O-Block, Prince Dre, guy named Prince Dre. I asked him for an interview. He, hell no, get your police ass on. Hot damn, tough as hell, shit. Oh my God, you know. But low key, I can say years later he DM'd me and said, my bad on that, bro. I ain't know what was going on at that time and shit. But yeah, O-Block didn't really let people in and shit until, you know, I started, you know, doing interviews. I got an opportunity to interview O-Block, Big Money, Gleesh, O-Block Gleesh. I got Munna Duke on the song with me. You know, a lot of people don't know I got rap videos too. So I got Munna Duke on the song with me. You know, I got the O-Block Shorties. I interviewed them. O-Block Mona Lisa. I think I interviewed more O-Block people than anybody. Yeah.
Damn, okay. And, you know, ZackTV did do that walkthrough,
Yeah.
you know, pretty early on in O-Block, man.
Yeah.
You know, I definitely think it's over 1 million views.
Yeah.
You know, probably
Zach wasn't scared.
Man.
Zach was in them hoods. Them hoods Zach went to, HBO can't go to them hoods that Zach went to. Certain hoods Zach was in, they ain't letting Showtime in them hoods and shit. You know, you gotta be stamped to go in them type of hoods. I'ma tell you though, King Von from the O. A lot of people always ask me, True, you knew King Von? You know, I ain't never met King Von ever in life. But I had an interaction with him though. Very a stern interaction with him though, Kim, you know?
Okay, well, what happened?
Yeah, I had a stern interaction with King Von. I ain't never met him as in real life, but shit, him. When people say, you know, is he a serial killer? Is he a mass murderer and shit? I ain't gonna say all that, but I can say his ass ain't no play though, you know, cause my first interaction with him, his ass DM me, you feel me? I've been holding this shit for a while, holding this little story. I done told some of it though, but you know, his ass DM me cause I interviewed a rapper named Goonie Looney, R.I.P. to Goonie Looney. But Goonie Looney was disrespecting Fredo Santana in this interview, called his ass all kind of names and shit, disrespecting him and shit in the interview. You know, King Von must have just beat that murder case. You know, he just beat that murder case. So I don't really know that much about Von, but like shit on the internet about him. But I don't know him to the point where I know his Instagram handle and shit, you know? He hit me instantly in the DM. You know, he hit me instantly. Who that? You feel? Who that? You know, who? He screenshot my shit. Send me the screenshot. Dude ass, you feel me? I say, oh, he a rapper. He say, he just marked himself. Damn, wait a minute. Now, I ain't really understanding this language and shit, you know? You feel me? It's a different kind of language and shit at this time. But he say, he marked himself. And then he do some shit at this time that people wasn't doing. Soon he say the shit, Kim, he delete the messages. Yeah, this nigga a sniper, you know? This nigga here real with it, right, Kim? Then he go on my Instagram page. To this day, that shit right there, right now, okay? He goes on my damn Instagram page and with Goonie Looney interview shit, and he go on that shit and he say, your ass just been marked. That's what he said. Now, I don't want to start no rumors because years later, Goonie Looney was shot and killed in Chicago, you know? But I think that was a whole nother incident that happened. So I don't want, Trap Lil don't get to linking this shit together, Trap. That ain't what I'm trying to do, you feel me? Shout out Trap, though. I talked to Trap this morning, though, man.
Now, was that your only interaction with Von?
That was my only interaction with his ass, though. But shit, he wanted to know who dude ass was, and he said his ass was Mark. So when people be like his ass was like all about that shit, I can believe that shit, though, you know?
And so you never got to talk to him after he started. So this was before he was a rapper.
Right before he was a rapper. This right when he got out of jail. Right when he got out of jail. He wasn't even a rapper at this time. Hell yeah, this like right around that time. You know what, Kim? You know, because it's a documentary just came out, right, Kim?
Yep.
Serial killer shit.
Ross documentary.
Right. I want to tell you about this, Kim, because people be asking me about this shit, Kim. If you listen to Von music, Von rapped about bodies. He rapped about them bodies. You know, he rapped about them bodies. He was proud to rap about that shit. He was on the Breakfast Club doing the interview. He's finna talk about them bodies and Durk shut his ass up. You feel me? 16 shot of visuals interview. He was talking about 16 was asking him regular questions about music and shit. He was like, I don't know about all that, but we can talk about them bodies, you know? So he was okay with this kind of promotion and shit. I don't think Von would be against that kind of promotion. I do get it, you know, that this the family involved, you know, the family involved in his estate. You get what I'm saying? They involved with everything that's King Von. So I can understand the family not liking nobody talking about him like that, painting him in that picture, painting him in that light and shit like that. But I think this is good marketability. Von was marketed off violence. He made diss records marketable, you know? Before Von, diss records was getting 5-6 million views, maybe 8 million views. Shit, Von was making diss records hit 100 million views. He was trending, you know? I think Durk synced that. Like Durk synced that wave. When you listen to Back in, I tell people this shit, you listen to Back in Blood, that shit sound like Von. Like Durk verse, that shit sound like Von. I ain't saying that's Von, but Von created that flow where diss records became marketable, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah. He definitely, you know, did a lot of that, man. And you know, off of what you said about Von talking about bodies, you know, there was just a video footage released where Von is actually telling the police, "I just beat a body."
Yeah.
In 2 attempts.
Hell yeah. Like so Von was okay with people talking about that shit. Like Von be on live, people be saying, how many bodies you got, Von? You got 3. And he'll be like, more than that. Shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So he was playing off that. Now, was he being honest? Was he telling the truth? Hell, we don't know. But I'm gonna tell you this here though. When he lost his life though, that shit was senseless. You know, I went to that crime scene. I actually went to the crime scene. I got on the plane and went there. I had to feel that shit. You know, you're gonna be a real street reporter. You gotta feel that shit. I went out there and I'm gonna tell you, I didn't watch that shit and I ain't wanna watch it, but it came across my screen like everybody else. Man, when you look at that shit, Just think about this, Cam. I tell people this shit. Von came from the streets, the projects, prison, jail, shit like that, you know? To straight to Hollywood, to the fame. He ain't know shit about Hollywood. He ain't know anything about that fame. You know, that money shit'll blind you. You know, he ain't know shit about that fame. So now, when he get into, he see this op-ass nigga he don't like, he don't really realize that that's a famous rapper. You know, some motherfucker might not be happy with you just stealing on him, just hitting on him and shit like that, you know? That come from the fame. That come from when you don't have, you know, motherfuckers that been in that position to tell you, look, we ain't gonna move like that today. You know, because I think Von was dope. Von, to this day right now, it's people who making money who don't even know Von. They just met him one day. It's an Uber driver who done dropped off a pizza doing interviews just because they met Von and shit, you know? Everything he touched turned to gold, Kim.
Yeah, I haven't seen a rapper who passed away this talked about, I mean, since Tupac.
Yeah, it's almost like he's still here. Shit, almost like Von's still here. Like, it's almost like him and Duck still here too. You know, Duck Death. You know, I studied Duck Death. I'm one of the first bloggers to really be on Duck Death like that. I went to his crime scene. You know, Duck Death is one of the sickest shit I ever seen. You know, people got to understand this guy standing in a pandemic line. You know, when the COVID was going on, people got to stand in the line. They only let 3 people in and 2 people in and 4 people in. 2 people come out, they let 2 more people in. This guy standing in a pandemic line and guys come like Al Capone and spray him down. You know, Duck shot multiple times. And then this the crazy part about all that shit, right? The man in one of the safest areas in the world and lose his life. But he be in them ghetto ass neighborhoods every day and he was safe there. You know? So shit can happen at a blink of an eye. All that shit be backdoor. All that shit be weird and shit, man. Shit be weird. That's why I watch myself out here and shit, you know? I done ran into shit out here, Cam, that I ain't never talked about.
Yeah, man. Duck's death was definitely a surprise, man. I don't think anybody expected to, you know, hear about Duck dying in the Gold Coast, man. That was, you know, I mean, the way it happened, it was wild, man. I don't think people really are like, you know, really put it together yet, like how wild it was to do that right in the middle of the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty wild, man.
Shit like the Wild Wild West. You know, another thing too, Kim, that a lot of people don't understand though, that's real up with like the whole Duck situation. You know, Duck was finna blow up. His ass was finna blow up. Like he was doing that shit on his own. He ain't have like World Star and all them shits behind him. He was blowing up on his own. And he was dangerous. Think about this shit. I don't want this to come off bad, but shit, Duck was out here in Chicago dangerously. Like, all his ops were rich, Kim. See what I'm saying? Like, all his ops rich. Durk, that's one of his ops. Shit, he rich. Von, one of his ops, he rich. Chief Keef, a op, he rich. This guy was still in the city, and all his ops were rich. You know, he in 63rd and St. Lawrence. You got 600, you got O Block. They was in the middle like a sandwich. You know? So when I look up and I see FBG Brick, I see FBG Cash, I see FBG Duck, I see TB, you know, all those guys I talked to lost their life, and that shit crazy. Like, I'm tell people this shit here, the deaths was coming so fast, Kim. I interviewed TB, a guy named TB. He got a friend named Poppy, he was killed. The deaths was coming so fast, when I interviewed the guy TB, I said, hey, put Poppy on the phone, I want to talk to him. That's when they explained to me at that moment that Poppy was killed. The deaths was coming so fast, that shit skipped me, you know? In the interview, in the middle of the interview, I asked the guy, let me speak to Poppy. And that's when I found out he was killed like 2 days earlier.
Damn.
Yeah, that shit, man, this shit, like, yeah, Ken.
Well, at one point, Little JoJo drops the BDK song. And what were your thoughts on that when that came out?
Wow, I ain't never seen no shit like that a day in my life. Young people, a whole community, all them guns. Shit, I ain't even know nobody who ordered 100 prop guns. So shit, in my mind, I'm like, shit, them shorties got them sticks out there. I ain't never seen no shit like that a day in my life. But I want to be honest with you. I didn't really know about JoJo until he passed away. You know, he didn't really reach like the West Side that hard when I was out there. You know, he was more like on the South Side, a legend on the South Side. I didn't really know JoJo like on the West Side and shit like that.
Okay, so you never got to talk to him
No.
or anything?
I got a chance to speak to a lot of his people. You know, I interviewed his brother, Swag De Niro. I got to talk to a lot of his homies, Freaky, a lot of people like that. But I never got a chance to talk to JoJo. You know, JoJo died quickly. You know, he caught the fame, he caught the clout, he blew up, but his death was like real fast, you know? It happened like right when the shit dropped. Like, JoJo would probably be a star if he was still alive. He one of the only guys in the drill culture that really could rap. A lot of guys, not being disrespectful, but a lot of guys really couldn't rap. But they had the background. People know they weren't lying about what the hell they were talking about. So we respected that. But JoJo actually could rap, you know?
Yeah, for sure, man.
Mm.
L.A. Capone also, was a rapper who got killed. Did you ever have any interactions with him or anything?
You know, I spoke to his mother a few times. I never had any interactions with him, but I went to his crime scene. His crime scene. Oh, I go through that alley. You see the studio that he walked out of. You see the back entrance of the studio that he walked out of. You see where the guys was waiting for him at the corner and shit. When I guess he waiting for his ride to pick him up. You can feel that shit when you walk through that alley, man. I went through that alley. You can feel that shit when you go through that alley, Cam. Like, you can feel that shit. But, you know, them young men, L.A. Capone would have been a star, Cam. His flow was dope. You know, he kind of like, some of his flow Lil Durk used right now. Lil Durk used some of his flow right now. Like, you know, the flow L.A. Capone got right now, Lil Durk used some of that flow right now. He would have been a star. But he was backdoored, in my opinion. He was backdoored. They set him up. He went to go record a song. He walked out the studio. His opposition was out there. And the crazy part is the people who the police alleged killed him, I had a chance to interview like some of their friends and shit like that, you know? And stuff like that. So everybody know each other in this shit, man. Like, everybody know each other. You gotta be very careful in this culture.
Well, you mentioned interviewing some of his friends.
Yeah.
So if I take it from the 051.
Yeah, I had an opportunity to interview guys like Driller, Pre-Boy, a few of those guys over there that's very close with a lot of those guys that is charged with L.A. Capone murder and shit, you know?
Did you ever talk or have any interactions with 051 Melly?
Yeah, hell yeah. One time though, but yeah, I had an interaction with 051 Melly. Hell yeah. I hit him up instantly, hit him in the DM. Our legend, let's do an interview. I wanted to interview him, you know. This was the time when people weren't really interviewing him besides ZackTV got him. I hit him up. He told me something deep as hell. I'm finna tell you what he told me, Cam. This is what 051 Melly told me out his own mother. He told me the internet made him hot. And I'm like, shit, you sure it's the internet or some of the shit you be doing, right? Look, he like the internet made him hot. And he ain't gonna do no interviews. That's the only interaction I had with him, you know? Yeah, and then he ended up losing his life like a month later. It's a lot of guys I talk to that I haven't interviewed. Like, it's a lot of guys who tell me shit that I don't speak to that we don't put on camera and shit like that, you know?
Yeah.
D-Rose 600, another one.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your first interaction with D Rose?
He locked up in jail. I get a call from his people. He want to talk to me. You know, I give him my number. He called me from jail. We do an interview. We talking. During the whole interview, he steady telling me truth. I with you, bro, but you know, be careful on talking about my guys and shit, right? Cool. We do the interview. In the interview, he tells me out his mouth, my bond was only $100,000 before he was charged, before he got convicted, okay? Before he got convicted, he told me out his own mouth. He said my bond only $100,000. I said, well, shit, yeah, cool. That's all. I say, well, you know, you think Durk and Keith and them gonna come get you? You know, you still talk to the guys? You still talk to the guys? You gonna be able to come home soon? He said, I just told you, my bond was only $100,000. Shit, I took it as he was upset a motherfucker didn't come get him, you know?
was that like he had $1 million bond and they only had to pay the 10%, or was it $100,000? Does seem kind of cheap for a murder.
Right. I'm not sure. I just know he told me 100,000. I'm not sure exactly what the number was. I interview actually up on YouTube right now though with that right now.
How long ago was this that you interviewed him?
Maybe about 4 years, about 3-4 years ago. This was like fresh when he was like right when he got locked up and shit.
So this was like right after he got convicted.
No, right after he got locked up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, I seen at one point you had like some issues with BCR Money. You know, he confronted you over, he recorded your phone conversation. He kind of confronted you over some things that somebody said about him on the interview.
Yeah, FBG, young. That's the weirdest shit I ever been through, Kim. I ain't never been through nothing like that. I come from an era, I'm a little older, so I be on some player shit. Man called me on the phone. He called me, I don't answer it, I'm doing something. He hit me again. Answer the phone. Just like that again. Another motherfucker talking tough through them phones and shit, right? Answer the damn phone. That nigga talking tough on the phone. So I answered this shit. I instantly know it must have been something that happened, right, Kim? Soon I answer the phone. What up, legend? If it's a problem, anything wrong, you let me know. I'ma fix that shit immediately. That's what I tell him when I answer the phone. I don't know what the fuck you talking about. Look, legend, you don't gotta scream so loud. I got you. Whatever the problem is, you tell me. I'ma fix it. Look, legend, I don't want to do the screaming shit. He steady talk crazy. The phone hangs up, okay? Now he's upset because in the interview, I asked her, you asked me, Truth, where you from? I tell you, I'm from the west side of Chicago, shit. I asked him, where you from? He said, I'm from 63rd. I said, okay, the interview finishes off. We finished the interview. I didn't know he said nothing wrong. When I dropped the interview, guys all on social media saying he not from 63rd. He not from 63rd. So this shit going viral on the internet. Hell, I see FBG Young. I got a good relationship with Young. I see him post it. He not from 63rd. Everybody posting this shit. So when I get a chance to interview Young, maybe a month later, I asked him about that shit. He speak on it. He took his shit. He got mad at me. Now recall when he's screaming at me, Kim, I don't realize that he recorded my phone call. He recorded me and shit, okay? I don't realize this shit, right? So he uploaded to the blog sites and shit. It goes to the blogs. BCR Money checks Truth Teller. Truth Teller was frightened. All kind of shit like that, right? Me, I thought I was showing them respect, But shit, I guess that shit came out wrong. Shit, we ain't had a chance to talk about that shit, but I wish him nothing but the best. I thought he was a dope artist. I wanted to interview him, shit. To this day, I don't know why he got upset. I ain't say he from 63rd. Shit, he took that shit out on me. I'm like, shit, Young right around there, shit. He doing interviews. He did a few interviews about that shit. I go on the internet. I'm seeing interview part 1 about Truth Teller. Damn, this shit crazy. So I left that shit alone, though. But guys, this interview shit, you done had some people get upset at your ass, too, Kim.
I have had a couple people get mad at me.
Facts.
Yeah. Was he one of the only guys that really got that upset at you?
Hell no. Another guy, SG Batman. Shout out SG Batman. But shit, he went angry. He went crazy. He on live talking about he gonna pulverize me, put knuckles, feet, all kind of shit. I even think he said he wanted to hurt me. He wanted to do some other shit too, but I don't want to strike your YouTube channel. He talking crazy as shit, man. FBG Butter, I guess, dissed him on my YouTube channel. I see videos with captions and shit on there. SG Butter says he's gonna kill Truth Teller. All kind of shit out. What the hell? I go to this shit. He very angry at me, cause Butter did a drive-by on my YouTube channel. He did somebody and I ain't know about this shit. If I ask you some shit and if I ask you a question and you dissing somebody and you speaking in general where only he know, how the fuck I know you talking about him? So he confront me over that shit. Like I say, I ain't got nothing to do with that. I try to block out anybody dissing dead people or things like that. But if the guy got something to say about you, I'm gonna let him say the shit. You feel me, Ken? So shit, It is what it is. You gonna call Fox 32 News and ask them to take some shit down? If you ain't gonna ask them to take some shit down, don't ask me to take no shit down.
It's definitely difficult to maneuver through all the situations, man, and everything that goes on.
That's a fact, Cam.
E-Day, you know, who was one of the early dudes doing drill, man. You know, I've interviewed a few people, and they've talked about, you know, him and Durk going back and forth really early on in the drill scene. You know, what was your thoughts, and, you know, did you have any interactions with E-Day?
Hell yeah, I had a lot of interactions with E-Day. E-Day was my homie in this shit. Like, E-Day was a good dude. Never met him in real life again, but he was my homie in this shit. But I'm gonna tell you, we kind of fell out though, right? This before his death and shit. You know, people don't know. You remember when the fake paperwork about Tay 600 snitching on Rondo? You remember when that fake paperwork first hit the internet, Cam? I'm the first person that ever posted that shit, Cam. I was the first person that ever had that paperwork. Tay actually tells this story on ZackTV. He don't say my name, but he speaks on this blogger, right? He's talking about me on his interview. I'm the first person that ever had that shit. And E-Day gave it to me. E-Day gave me the fake paperwork. So I'm finna tell you how we got into it. E-Day gave me the paperwork that said Tay 600 snitched on his brother, all kind of shit. I posted shit on the internet, man. I get about 600,000 views on that shit. You feel me? Come to find out, it's fake. Okay? Shit fake. So I make a decision to say, you know what? The shit fake, I'm gonna take it down. Even though I got 600,000 views on the shit, I'm gonna take it down. I took it down. And then I did an interview with Tay 600. You know, I did an interview with Tay 600. You know, E-Day felt like I shouldn't interview Tay 600. I shouldn't talk to him. I shouldn't support him. I shouldn't promote him. You know, he a rat. I don't support him. I say, look, bro, you sent me the fake paperwork, bro. That's fake paperwork. I don't want to be in that shit. That's fake paperwork. Bro, he got so mad at me about this shit, he went on ZackTV. You go to back to ZackTV and E-Day. He disses me on ZackTV, you know. He don't diss me too hard, but he's very upset with me because he feels like I'm supporting a rat. I'm doing all this shit here, you know. I don't know what Tay did. You know, he say he didn't do this shit. He kind of proved he didn't do this shit. Then people proving he did this shit. I ain't got nothing to do with it. I'm out that shit. But he was real angry with me over that shit. I'm the first person that ever post. Everybody else reposted the paperwork that I dropped. You know, I made that shit go viral. But I want to say I made fake paperwork go viral though, you know? You feel me? And I, low-key, I told Tay 600 that shit though, because Tay asked me, like, bro, why you post that shit? I say, man, it was fake. You know, I didn't know it was fake. I thought it was real, but we ended up getting cool because you understand it's a business. But I'm going to tell you about E-Day though. E-Day was a legend in this shit though, Cam. His death, he was shot like 22 times. You know, E-Day was shot like 22 times. E-Day, this wasn't like a spur of the moment shit. This was like some setup shit. I'm gonna tell you, cause E-Day a legend in this shit. Remember, I'm a street reporter. You know, I study these cases and shit, Cam. You know, he was shot on the weekend in a bad neighborhood in Chicago. 3 things that I know E-Day wouldn't fall for. You know, he been in this shit long enough. He know the do's and the don'ts in this shit. So it lead me to believe that he must have lived in that area. You know, he must have stayed around there to be in a badass neighborhood late at night on the weekend. You know, if you're in Chicago, you stay the away from those 3 criterias. When you look into the paperwork with E-Day, it say motherfucker shot E-Day 20-something times. Then got in the car and rolled off and shit. Yeah.
You know, man, about the whole paperwork and everything, with all the fake paperwork that is like came out, in, you know, especially involving Chicago, it is so hard to really tell who snitched, who didn't snitch, what happened. You know what I mean? Because there, you know, I don't think the Capone situation is the only situation about some fake paperwork.
Right.
People might get mad at us and they might say we're supporting the rap, but at the same time, it's like, you know, how the fuck are we supposed to know if you guys are making up fake paperwork all the time about people? Like, how are we like, you know what I'm saying? Especially for someone like me who's not from Chicago. I'm way from Cali.
Right.
So I got no way of telling who's doing what, you know? And when you release fake paperwork, that just makes it even harder when the real shit come out, because when the real shit come out, then I'm going, okay, is this fake too?
Facts.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, I didn't go file to get the paperwork, so I have no way of verifying that this
Right.
shit is real.
Facts. That's
You
true,
know?
Cam. That shit true. And that shit be dangerous too, calling them up a snitch, trying to expose them up being a snitch. Like that's the kind of shit a motherfucker don't forget, you know?
Man, it is super deadly to call somebody a snitch.
You
man.
seen Nipsey? Nipsey did that shit. Nipsey called the motherfucker a rat. You seen what happened?
Chief Keef, you know, we talked about him a little bit, but you know, he blows up. The drill culture goes crazy, man. You know, and Keef doesn't do, I don't want to say any interviews, but he's never did an extensive, real interview in his life, you know. I do think ZackTV got him for like a couple minutes.
Right.
You know, did you ever have a chance to interview him or to talk to him or anything?
I never had a chance to interview Keith, but I was interviewing somebody, right? Look, this shit crazy, right? This shit crazy. I ain't never talked to Keith. Keith too big. I done DM'd his ass 50 million times. He won't look, Kim. You feel me? But I was interviewing some guys from Front Street, okay? Shout out Nutso, you feel me? He like blood money brother. But I don't know if he is real brother, but they like brothers and shit, you know? I was interviewing him, and in the middle of the interview, Tato called with Keith in the background, you know? And they was mad about some shit, you know? That's some personal shit I can't talk about, but they was mad about some street shit, you feel me? And you can hear Tato in the background like, tell that nigga Truth don't upload my damn, don't put me on that damn interview, and shit like that. So that's the first time I knew that Tato knew who I was, though, you know? He was like, tell Truth don't put me on that interview. And I like, shit, I cut him out, you know? But Tato and Keith called in the middle of an interview I did with a guy from Front Street because they thought we was finna talk about blood money beef with O-Block. Okay? Yeah, we in the interview, Cam. I ain't holding shit. We talking about this shit, Cam. We talking about this shit, Cam. We was finna do an interview, and you know, Bezu and Boss Top dropped a song. And it was rumors that they dissed blood money in that song, okay? So Nutso does an interview with me, and I asked him about that shit. Boy, Nutso go hard on that shit. Where, you know, I don't know if it's a diss song, but if it is a diss song, niggas and shit like that. So, you know, you can see that it's something brewing, right? You know, Tato and them called me quick because they called Nutso in the middle of the interview about that whole situation. And, you know, I can't say what was said behind that shit, but, you know, he just made sure I didn't put him in the interview, you know? Yeah. And you can hear Keith in the background, you know, but he not talking to me. You know, they interacting with Nutso.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What about Fredo Santana? Did you ever have a chance to talk to him?
No, Fredo passed away quick. Never. I was real close to, you know what, saying Fredo Santana, you know, one of his artists, Front Street Quano, I was real close to. He was killed by the police. So I was real close to people that Fredo knew, but I never had a chance to interview Fredo. Fredo wasn't really interview friendly. You know, they moved away from Cali. They knew about them back doors and all kind of shit like that. But he did come back out here several times. He has been out here, you know.
What about Rondonumbanine?
I just interviewed his brother like maybe 6-7 days ago, Kim. That's crazy. You just said that, you know. I wasn't lucky enough for him to call while we were interviewing, but we thought he was going to call while I was interviewing his brother, man. We was hoping that, we was praying on that Rondo was going to call in the middle of the interview, but I guess at that time they didn't allow Rondo at the phone and shit, but no, but I am aware of Rondo. Rondo's aware of me. He gave his brother the go to speak about anything he wanted to speak about in our interview and shit like that.
Rondo hit my DM when I interviewed Tay.
Oh.
About the whole snitching situation and everything. And you know, I just told him, you know, I was like, bro, I don't take sides in this shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I just kind of just left it at that.
Right.
You know, he followed me, and then not too long after that, he unfollowed me on Instagram.
Right.
You know. But yeah, man, you know, free those dudes, man.
Yeah, most definitely.
The culture, the drill culture could definitely use Rondo, man.
Yeah, he had some
That,
energy. He had that energy in this rap shit, you know, but he was young, man. That shit crazy that, you know, guys are gonna be in jail for 100 years for shit they did in their teens, you know. So it look like Rondo
yeah,
got like 30 some calendars, man.
crazy, man.
Damn.
One other well-known dude in the drill community, man, that everybody seemed to have a lot of positive things to say about, man, and that was FBG Brick.
Brick.
Brick,
FBG
man.
Brick. Most definitely. Good dude. Good dude. Reached out to me early in this shit. Brick was a good dude. He reached out to me. Brick was a good dude in this shit. He was very aggressive though. You could feel his energy. He was very, very aggressive. You know, when I first interviewed Brick, the first thing he ever told me was, he said, "Truth, ask me a lot of questions about my brother." You know, he wanted his brother to be up there like he supported the out Duck. You know, that's the real shit. He was like, ask me a lot of questions about my brother. He's like, post my brother. He's always saying, man, y'all gotta post my brother. I don't even know if he knew his brother was that damn big. Cause he used to talk to me like Duck wasn't that big and shit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It hurt my heart when I found out, you know. The thing with Brick that surprised me, Kim, you listen to all they rap songs, the whole world know they be on 63rd and St. Lawrence, okay? The whole world knew this shit, Kim. The fact that they were on 63rd and St. Lawrence when he lost his life, that had me shocked that he was really still out on them blocks that was famous. Them blocks famous, you know? And he was out there, you know, with a guy named Kobe. I actually interviewed Kobe. Nobody else in the culture interviewed Kobe. People say he was like, they say you don't play with him, Kim. You feel me? I interviewed him. When I interviewed him, he was dissing King Yella. King Yella, his homie. He was disrespecting King Yella when I interviewed him. You know, he hit me back 2 days later and told me I was in my feelings about that. That's my brother. He said I was in my feelings about that shit. That's my brother. Take that shit down, True. I took that shit down. We got to like 40,000 views. He said, take that shit down. That's my brother. I should have never did this shit. That's the first time an artist ever told me that they made a mistake about dissing somebody. On some real shit. King Yella can vouch for this shit.
Have you ever interviewed or talked to King Yella?
Yeah, all the time. All the time. I interviewed King Yella a few times. King Yella is a good dude. He gave me like one of my first big shots in this shit. Didn't charge me $1, you know? I interviewed him about maybe 3-4 times. He never charged me $1, you know? He showed love and this shit. People don't show King Yella the love, you know? He was showing niggas love in this shit. I'm gonna be honest with you. He was showing niggas love in this shit early, like on the interview side, on the media side. Now as far as the rap side shit, I don't know. You know, but as far as on the media side, he always showed me love in this shit. I seen a lot of people before they was big and shit. Trenches News. You see Trenches News blowing up on the internet. Look, Trenches News is blowing up and he deserved that shit. I tell people, Trenches News, it's another guy named Corporate Media. These guys are blowing up on the internet, man, and they deserve that shit. Now, whether they stories real or this here, people be saying that shit. Look, that's for the fans to figure out. I remember Trenches News. Let me tell you, I'm finna stamp this shit. You feel me? I remember Trenches News before he was Trenches News. Look, Trenches News was like a source of mine like 7-8 years ago. I tell people this shit. Like, Trenches News is to tell Truth, this shit finna happen. And like, Truth, you better report about this shit. This shit finna happen. He used to tell me shit like this 6-7 years ago before he was Trenches News. He do a lot of crazy shit though. He be dissing me and shit on the internet and little other shit like that. But we do speak, we get past that shit. He a legend in this shit too though, low key. I wanted to say that shit, man. I wanted to stamp that shit because people be trying to start a problem with the bloggers and shit. Bro, we not finna beef about articles, bro. You know, we ain't finna beef about storylines and shit. Not at all. I support all the bloggers because ZackTV supported me, Cam.
So you said he was your source, like,
he was like
7 years ago.
He was like a source of mine, Cam. Telling me shit before it happened. He didn't have no YouTube channel. He used to hit me, hey, True, this shit finna... Look, I got about 10 videos on my YouTube channel because of the information that Trenches News gave me. Yeah. He started this shit on his own.
How'd you link up with Trenches News?
You know, he just hit me out the blue. You know, he from Chicago. He's watching my video. You know, he just used to hit me. Hey, Truth, bro, you got this story wrong. You need to redo it, put it like this, say this, you know, and shit like that. You feel me? This guy just got locked up. This guy just got shot. This guy just whooped. This guy just... He's telling me that shit. Yeah, Trenches News. Swiper.
Swiper. Yes, we actually got another interview coming out.
Dope. That's dope. And you know, it's a lot of dope
guys
guys coming up. King Yella killing it on the blogging.
King Yella's killing it on the blogging, man.
Yeah.
J-Man.
Yeah, it's a lot of guys doing this
thing.
shit now. The culture growing.
You know, did you ever have any interactions with Boss Top?
Hell no, he tried to charge me too much money for an interview. I had to pass on that, you know, at the moment. Try to tax me and shit because he liked some of my videos I did. So, you know, I talked to him though. We talked several times, but as far as doing our interviews, no interviews with Boss Top.
Okay.
His ass crazy though, you know, shit, he was locked up. When he was recently locked up, he just recently went viral about getting in a fight with some guys and shit like that. You know, the people who he got in a fight with, you know, those people contacted me, wanting to do an interview. Like some people outside, I passed on that shit though. I want to tell another story though. I ain't tell you this though. You know the girl who was in the car with FBG Cash? I don't know if you can link this together, but I'm finna tell you though. You know the girl who was in the car with FBG Cash? They actually contacted me to do an interview. The girl who was shot and Cash was killed, they contact me. Truth, we want to do an interview. Uh-huh. Hey, we want to do an interview. I say, wait a minute. I don't know if this should be on YouTube. This shit need to be on the police desk or some shit, man. I'm cool on this one. You know, this is she wanted to prove that she didn't set Cash up or do anything like that, you know. And I just told her, you know, a week, 7-8 days after his death, it's too early to be doing some shit like this, Cam. So I passed on that interview.
Wow. So the lady who was shot sitting next to Cass contacts you. You turn it down.
Yes.
And a lot of people believe that she backdoored Cash, but she was denying it, and she wanted to clear her name up.
Yeah. And I turned that down. I told her, baby girl, that shit needs to be on the police desk, not on my YouTube channel.
Man, that's crazy.
This internet, man, this internet shit and this shit crazy, Cam. Everybody got a story to tell in this shit.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many important people in the drill culture that, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody got a story. You know, if you've been in it for like 10 years or plus, like you know what I'm saying? You've probably interacted with so many people and, you know, been through so much that you got a really good story to tell, man.
Facts.
You know, is there anybody else or any other situations that you want to touch base on?
No, I think we hit it all, man. I think we hit it all up on everything, Cam, man. I appreciate you coming through. I got a lot more shit, Cam. We got to do this again. Depending on how our interview do, we going to do a part 2 of this shit, Cam, because I could be here for years. I got so many stories to tell you, Cam, you know. I got so many stories. A guy recognizing me in the store pulling a gun on me and shit, Cam, you know. You feel me?
A guy pulled a gun on you.
Cam, I go in the store, Cam. I go in the I go in the gas station. I go in the gas station, Cam. Goes in the gas station. He's staring at me hard as hell. I already know he watched me from my videos. I can instantly tell the way he's staring at me. He know who I am and shit. He walk up on me, Cam. He walk up on me. He say, bro, I appreciate what you did that day. Because if you never would have did that, it'd be something. What the f is he talking? I don't even know what he talking about, right? You know, I don't even know what he talking about. Cam, he pull his gun out while I'm in the gas station. He like, you truth? I'm like, huh? He like, you truth? Shit, I know, I heard what he said, but you know, you got to play it off and hear it 2 times and shit. Huh? You feel me? Cam, you got to play, huh?
You need some time to think, like, how the f I'm going to get out of this
Hell
shit?
yeah, Cam, and I'm in this shit by myself. Cam, and I done f***ed around and walked up here, Cam. I ain't even drive to the gas. I done f***ed around and walked, Cam. You feel me? Cam, when he get out the store, Cam, I see him get in the car. Now, he don't say shit to me. I get out, I walk off. I'm doing interviews. I get off, I walk off. I go in front of the hotel. Cam, I see this motherfucker, Cam. This nigga, he parked, Cam. He walking towards me. Finna tell you what he say, Cam. He say, you remember that shit you posted about Mama Duck? Listen to me, Cam. Real shit, Cam. He say, you remember that shit you posted about Mama Duck? I say, huh? At this time, I'm like, damn, I ain't get away from his ass. He got that pistol on his ass. He walking up on me, man. I should have got the f away from him. Look, he walk up on, he say, that shit you posted about Mama Duck, I'm glad you took it down. I guess he told me to take some shit down, and I took it down, you know, because I don't be arguing with a motherfucker and shit, Cam. I'll take shit down. But this the thing though, Kim, why he walking up on me though, right? He don't know at the same time I'm finna do an interview with 051 Young Money, okay? Low key, I think 051 Young Money saved my life that day, and they don't even know that shit, right? He walking up on me, right? He getting close. Now he saying, you lucky nigga. Now his tone changing and shit. He getting close to me now. His shit changing. When he get close, Pre-Boy from 051 Young Money, they walk off. Truth, you okay? He don't know what's going on. He just asking me what's up with me because I'm finna do an interview with him and shit. Dude turned around and walked off and shit, Kim. Yeah.
Damn.
051 Pre-Boy and a few of his guys walked up to do an interview. Now he see I wasn't outnumbered. It wasn't just me standing in front of the hotel by myself. Now it's me and like 5 other niggas and shit. He turned around and walked off.
Have you talked to Mama Duck?
Yeah, I interviewed Mama Duck. I love Mama Duck, man. Mama Duck dope in this shit. I got an opportunity to interview Mama Duck. I came to Mama Duck. You know, normally I make people come to my space. I took a chance and I went to Mama Duck and interviewed her. I with Mama Duck, you know. A lot of people don't get it that, you know, you gotta grieve on this internet shit while people watching you. That shit hard, you know. It's people watching her grieve so they feel like she supposed to be a certain way and all kind of shit. You know, I with Mama Duck. I ain't gonna lie, one thing I am gonna say though, if some shit ever happened to me, knock on wood, some shit ever happened to me, I want my mama to go hard for me like Mama Duck though, on some real shit, you know? I want my mama to go hard like that. You feel me? Get on these documentaries, get on these HBO shows, talk that shit about your son on this shit, you know?
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, she's kind of broken news and talked about things. You know, she came out and she said people would be arrested for Duck's murder and the FBI was getting involved. And a couple months later, 5 dudes were arrested. You know, she came out a few months ago talking about somebody would be arrested for dropping Duck's location. And, you know, recently we seen someone get arrested for that. So she's definitely been going hard on it.
Hell yeah. And then them guys were rappers too. Like a lot of them guys who got locked up for Duck Death, a lot of them guys were rappers too. You know, a lot of them guys wanted to be rap stars, had future careers and shit. And for some reason, you know, allegedly, you know, to throw it away that fast was like real crazy in my opinion. You know, to just throw your whole career away. Cause that's the feds. Like, you know, when the feds come in, that shit, you pretty much signed up to throw your life away in this shit. You know? And then you got the mayor, like think about how wicked Chicago, this how wicked Chicago is, Cam. And I ain't got nothing to do with this, but this how wicked this shit is. You know, when Duck loses his life and he passed away, you got the mayor saying Duck fancied himself as a gang member and said all these things about Duck. And Duck was disrespectful as hell though, let's be honest now, he had songs disrespectful as hell, dissing dead people and shit. You know, but to latch herself to Lil Durk, you know, going to his charities, his fundraisers, he's such a great young man, you know, he's inspiring the communities. Like, it's 2 artists who the police allege had something to do with Duck Death that signed to his label. You know, you taking photo ops and shit with him and all kind of shit. And not saying Durk got anything to do with it, but you taking photo ops and shit with him. And, you know, it's 2 people that got OTF chains on that y'all allege had some shit to do with his death. This whole city wicked out here, you know?
Little Durk ever reached out to you?
No, I ain't never got a chance, the opportunity to get to speak to Lil Durk, man. I ain't got to the legend yet. I spoke to a lot of OTF members. Bezu, OTF Bezu, I speak to him. I spoke to him several times. I speak to OTF Lil Varney, Hypno Carlito. I speak to all the people that's very close to him, you know. I never got a chance to talk to the drill legend, but, you know, yeah, you know.
You know, I've never said this before, man, but me and Muwap, we talked about doing an interview.
Oh.
Like, probably about 2 months before he got arrested.
That's dope.
You know, there was a few things that we couldn't really agree on at the time, man. And
I know the few things that you couldn't agree on, because the same thing with me and him too.
Yeah, man.
Them shits be too much, don't they, Cam? Some of them fees be too much. People be talking about this shit, right, Cam?
Yeah, man. Not talking about that no more, but right. you know, about the fees, man, I mean, sometimes, you know, an artist will want so much that it's like, I gotta make some money too.
Right, facts.
You know what I mean? Like, if you've noticed, a lot of dudes who were doing interviews aren't doing interviews no more.
Facts.
Like, it's fucked up. You know what I mean? And you know, me being on this side of things, when they, you know, I kind of hear things about how much dudes are charging.
Yeah.
You know, and then I see him do, you know, and I'll pass on the interview.
Right.
And then I'll see him do the interview with somebody else.
Right.
And I'm going, holy, this guy just lost probably $2,000-$3,000
Right.
doing this interview.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I'm just sitting here going,
Yeah.
you know, these dudes, you know, they're gonna put dudes out of business, man. And I'm sitting there like, you know, I mean, I get it, you know, get what you can get.
Mm-hmm.
But shit, bro, if we go out of business, there ain't nothing to get.
Fact.
You know what I mean?
And then some people don't even deserve to be paid in this shit though, Cam. Like, we gotta be honest with this shit. Some people don't even deserve, like, you ain't clouded enough to even be asking to get paid yet, you know? It's, you know, the subscribers and being on the page is good enough for you. It's some people that needs to get paid. But it's some artists in this shit that be asking for these payments and they ass don't deserve to get paid yet, Cam.
Yeah, I've ran across that too, man.
Yeah,
you know?
This shit done got crazy.
It is you know, with because when I first came back, because you know I started actually interviewing like over 10 years ago, but I had to take a break because I had some personal issues going on. So I came back about like 4 years ago, and when I came back, you know, paying wasn't really a thing.
Right.
You know, so it was kind of like just relationships and how much value you could add to the person, you know. And then it was like, you know, people started getting paid, and you know, it was small amounts, you know. And then it was like, boom, you know, some dudes it was wanting, you know, crazy amounts, man.
I'm talking about give me 10,000, give me 5,000 and shit like that. All right, man, you crazy. I done paid in this shit, so I tell people all the time, people don't know that shit, this shit get expensive. To book the space, you know, bring your cameras, pay the artists, this shit get expensive, don't it, Cam?
Yeah, I mean, studio costs, editors.
Facts.
You know, I got a staff of people.
Facts.
Everybody got to make some money, man.
Real shit.
But Truth Teller, man, dude, dope story, man.
I appreciate you, legend, man. I said I was gonna come through. I'm coming on Cam. I be watching you, Cam. You a buying this shit, bro. I see you finna hit 1 million subscribers soon, too. So a lot of people don't know. That's hard working shit. People just see that 1 million subscribers, but they don't see that 1 million times you was ready to quit in this shit, Cam. You know what I'm saying? The 1 million motherfuckers who was like, Cam, go get a real job and all kind of shit like that. Now, Cam got that with on top, so I support you, brother. You keep going at this shit, man.
Man, I appreciate that. You too, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you a legend. You've been around 10 plus years doing your thing. I mean, you've interacted with almost everybody in the drill culture, man. And even dudes who weren't even rappers, you know, you had, you know, relationships and worked with in some way, shape, or form, man. You know, that's huge, man. That's dedication, man. That's love right there. You know what I'm saying? Your love for the culture, man, is strong. I can see it.
Man, I appreciate that, Cam. I appreciate the opportunity, man.
Definitely, bro. Appreciate you too, man.
The homie Truth Teller, the street reporter. Breh.
What's up? This is Cam Capone. We got more content like this coming soon. So hit that like button, subscribe, and stay locked in to Cam Capone News.